Looks like we're live. Welcome, guys. We'll be getting started in a few minutes. Just wanted to make sure all of our bells and whistles and buttons were functioning. So if you're watching already, you can go jump in our giveaway. See the link up on the screen there, bzpower.com/giveaway. Get your entry and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the stream. Alright, looks like it's 1 o'clock. So welcome, guys. Black 6 from BZPower here. Today we're going to be building this lovely set 42070, the 6x6 all-terrain tow truck. 1,862 Technic pieces. Last I checked, it was still available for about $290 in the States. Might not be available anymore. I don't think I've checked in 2020 yet, but in 2019 it was definitely still available. So this is a bit of a behemoth of a set. You can see down here on this flap, which is pretty awesome, that it measures, probably can't see that on the camera at this point, 2 feet long. So this is not going to be a small set. You can see it's got power functions, so the set is from 2017, I believe. So this was before Powered Up was introduced, but it's got an RC controller and receiver, 2 motors and a battery box, and it looks like a linear actuator, maybe some other stuff to have a whole bunch of different functions. So it looks really cool. I love the medium blue and the red little teddy bear and the chain are nice details. I was talking about the flap. Let's see if we can. So the lost art of the flap on a Lego box. So this kind of shows off a lot of the functions. So RC steering, horizontal crane control, vertical crane control, retractable pulling crane and hook, outriggers, 4-cylinder engine with moving pistons. So it looks like the only thing that's RC is the driving, and the other features are kind of manual, which is fine, I think. And then on the other side of the flap, let's see, you can see another view of the pickup truck there. Looks pretty awesome. Let's see if we can flip around. I mean, it's cool that there's a flap. It's not as cool as Lego sets used to be, where there's like little compartments in there and you can see like some of the pieces and the minifigs in there. That was really cool back in the day. So here on the back, kind of have some more call outs on the different functions. There's wheel suspension, look forward to building that. And then there's instructions for a second model, the Research Explorer vehicle. We're definitely not going to be building that, at least not on this, this stream. As cool as it does look. We probably aren't going to finish this set today either, because it is so large. These Technic sets are usually pretty complex, so we'll likely be finishing it next week. Probably on Friday or Saturday. So let's open up the box here. Jump out some parts. All right. Everything's out of the box. Are these bags not numbered? Oh, this is going to be so much fun, guys. Non-numbered bags in 2017? Lego, I am disappointed in you. So there's a lot of bags in here. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and if you include these two guys, 17 and 18. Not numbered. That is very disappointing, because this set's going to take even longer to build. We do have these really big tires, just so you can kind of get an idea of how big they are. Here's a brick separator. So they are bigger than a brick separator. So this is not going to be a small set by any stretch of the imagination. We do have our instruction book, which is quite thick, along with the stickers here. So let's open that up. How does a set that came out in 2017 not have numbered bags? So here is our sticker sheet. Towing service, Wolf, kind of, maybe that's a Wolf Valley. Almost reminds me of the Wolf Pack castle theme logo. Maximum load 30 tons, tow 067. Almost looks like a stylized like Volkswagen logo or something there on the front. And then some like compartments and stuff. So decent sticker sheet. Looks like some of them are pretty key. And like I was saying, this is a very thick instruction book. Lots of warnings on the front, probably thanks to the power functions. And yeah, like the instructions just start with like, all right, find your parts and get building. So you're gonna have to organize these a little bit. Thankfully, some things like this is just all 3 module Technic pins. We're gonna have to like get all the trays out here. Oh, no, I still have stuff in it. So it looks like I got 2, 4, 5 trays. That's definitely not gonna be enough. Hopefully some of these may be smaller bags. You can leave the parts in them and then just search through the bags. So we're gonna have to open up some of these big bags though. We have to actually like do some sorting before we start building. Like some of these big parts and like Technic frames and stuff. They might pop out. Oh, I'm throwing parts on the ground already. Oh, that's handy. 2 little bags with just black Technic pins. And let's lower the camera down so you can see a work surface a little better. Had to raise it up because of the box. Hey there, Dowler. Welcome. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna open some of these bags. These 2 bags look like they might be identical. That's handy. bags. Nope, those are not identical. Wishful thinking. Alright, so I guess right now we're going to have to do some sorting before we open up any more bags. So like a lot of the big parts, like these Technic panels and Technic frames, I'm gonna get out of here. Maybe some of the Technic beams as well. Those are all the same length, that's handy. And one thing I didn't mention is this set, since it is from 2017, one of the 40th anniversary LEGO Technic sets. So we got a little beam there. Hey there, Woomy World, welcome. Got a lot of these parts for the, these are part for the outriggers. Very cool. Some big Technic frames. So there was a time when I could say I didn't build a lot of big Technic sets, but over the past couple years I have built quite a few. I don't think I've ever seen this part before. I'm not quite sure how that's going to be used. Oh, I think that might be, oh, that's for, I think for the wheels. So you can put the axle in here and then a couple of gears and the wheel actually goes down lower, or vice versa. So kind of has like an offset axle and wheel to give it more ground clearance. So that was a very unique part. I feel like this piece was probably made for the Mercedes Unimog, whatever it was, a few years ago. I definitely had wanted to pick up that set, but I never got the chance to, because that is a really cool design with that offset axle. All right, then we can combine these maybe. Already lost my place in the instructions and haven't started building yet. Man, who doesn't love sorting all their Lego? But doing this now should hopefully make things go a lot faster. Found our cute little teddy bear. It's gonna go on the hood. There's a little hood ornament there. Poor guy. Alright, I think we can combine those two. Get a couple other bags open here. Luckily, so far, most of the different colored Technic beams have all been like the same size. So that certainly makes things a little easier. I think this is the last big bag we've got. Again, a lot of Technic beams in here. Oh, I spoke too soon. Definitely see some different size Technic beams. I think most of them are the same though. I suppose the good thing at least is once I get used to where all of the pieces are, they will be there for the entire rest of the build. It's not like I'll open a new bag and then move things around. Alright, we got some space in there. Alright, I still got all these little bags. It's gonna be an interesting build for sure. You off to the side. How many of these just have like black Technic pins? You can go off to the side until I go through the first bag of Technic pins. And so yeah, I'm going to be like tearing off the tops of these bags very carefully so I can keep them intact, and as I need pieces I can grab them. It's a very handy method to just kind of slice off the top there. All right. There's some of them over here. All right, and then if I need anything out of these bags, I'll just have to open them when I get there. I can only... Oh, and of course the first step, I'm gonna need something out of one of these bags. I can only do so much sorting before I get to building. Alright, so how's everyone's weekend going? Any fun plans? I know for me, there's a reach from yesterday because I was doing some home improvement projects. Installing some new lights in my bedroom. Let me go there. Oh no, my first spill. A while ago, why couldn't you number the bags? I suppose there's the hope, at least, as we continue to build, you know, and use up parts, we'll be able to spread some of these out a little more. Hey, Topai. You're building Lego City Undercover? How exactly does that work? How does one build a video game? I just had that piece, didn't I? Or did I just open the bag and not take it out? What do you mean god-awful Physics 2? Physics 2 is awesome. I loved E&M. I mean, I may or may not have been a lot of a nerd. May still not. May still be a nerd. But I did enjoy physics a lot. That was my jam. I mean, mechanics was awesome too in physics, for sure. I just think I liked all physics. All the physics. Tovpai is indeed playing. Not building. I'm sure you could build some things from that game, yeah. Assuming you have enough patience to like record the gameplay and then slow it down to watch. Or take someone else's recorded gameplay. Like, for example, we streamed all of the campaign of Lego City Undercover right here on our Twitch channel a while ago. And all of those replays are should be on YouTube. So you can check those out. And obviously, since we just focused on the campaign, we did not build everything. We certainly built a lot. Ew. Have to keep opening new bags. What do I think of Twitch? I assume you meant Twitch versus YouTube, where we used to stream. I don't know, from my perspective, it's pretty much the same as far as I use the same software to do the streams, and the same setup. So none of that has really changed for me. It's just a different thing to click on before to set it up and say go to Twitch instead of YouTube. And since we've already been doing our Twitch Tuesday video game streams for a while, you know, it was kind of similar in that. I guess one of the big things that you guys have probably noticed is that I feel like Twitch has more like plugin support, maybe you could put it. Like, so you guys can see the chat in the stream right now, which I think is pretty cool. Or sorry, you can see the chat in the stream. See the stream in the chat, yes. Yes, you can see the chat on screen. So I feel like that's kind of a cool and different thing. This way you can see how much of a lag there is, at least. And know why I'm not answering you. Whether I'm just ignoring you or, ooh, excuse me, or it just hasn't made it to me yet. Yeah, I know some people, like our friend Kevin Hinkle, uses, I forget the name of the site offhand, but he uses like another platform that can stream to both YouTube and Twitch like at the same time. That seems very handy, but it's also not free service. And it's not like even when we're on YouTube we're making any money off of our streams. So that is still the case. So we're just trying to do this for fun. Build some Lego, chat with you guys, have a good time. So whatever is the easiest. Also, I guess one of the big drawbacks is the fact that, not drawbacks, but differences, is that when we're on YouTube after the stream, the video would just be up on our YouTube channel. We can go back in and edit the description, add a thumbnail and stuff like that. But for Twitch, we have to like go in and transfer it over to YouTube. But that's not really that big of a deal. Alright, so it looks like we're kind of done with this section for a bit. Yeah, not a lot going on just yet. I mean, starting with the frame, some sort of beginnings of a mechanism right here. But it looks like next up we're going to start working on a gearbox. So that should get a little more involved. I avoided it for so long, but it's finally time to open the last of the bags. Made it 20 steps that I haven't opened this one. Don't spill. get real tired of fishing parts out of these bags real fast. It's interesting, this is now the second time when we have used 2 half bushings to hold a part in instead of 1 full bushing. And I don't exactly explain why we're doing it that way. I really can't see a definite need why we would do it that way. Because, I mean, there are full bushings in this set. We have used them. I wonder if the widths of 2 half bushings versus 1 bushing are slightly different or something. The hunt for the wild parts continues. Aha. Alright, so we're starting to get some gears turning. As you can see, I got this gear here. And when that turns this tan one, which turns this black one, which is doubled up, and then turns this white clutch gear. And the way the clutch gear works is it has this rubber core, so like if you hold that gear, I can still, in theory, because it takes a lot of force sometimes. There. No, that's just getting the gear system up. In theory, that gear should be able to turn even when, see, I can hold the gear in place, and I can still turn the axle. It does take a lot of force, but that keeps it from like burning itself out if you try to send it too far in one direction or another. Is anyone excited for the Super Bowl tonight? Said when we went live, or sorry, when we announced the stream, that should be done well in time for the Super Bowl this evening. Not because I necessarily care about watching it, but mainly because I don't want to be streaming for 5 hours today. That said, I probably will turn it on since I don't think I have much else that's like super pulling me into doing. I got mainly just getting stuff ready for the work week, all that boring stuff. So I'll put it on, hopefully catch some of the commercials. That way when people start talking about it in the office this week, I have some idea of what is going on. There's definitely a time where I did follow football pretty closely, but that time is in the past now. Just too many things in this world to keep track of. Stop rolling away. Can't keep track of if I have all the parts I need if you keep rolling away. Glad you appreciate the music there, Woomy. All the tracks that are playing are things that BZPower members wrote and submitted to the site. Probably quite a while ago now. I'd have to go look back and see when that was, but it was some time ago. Probably about time for us to try to do it again and see if we can get some more tracks to help spice things up a bit. Alright, got a couple more gears in here, but they are currently not attached to anything except for themselves. We'll see if we somehow get from over here to there. So yeah, like I said, Topai was something we did a while ago. At the topic and stuff is probably like long closed at this point. But if you are interested in writing something, yeah, just drop me a note. I'm sure we can figure out some sort of appropriate compensation for your efforts. We've got lots of Lego we can give away, that's for sure. Another spill. Alright, 5 minutes after starting to collect the pieces for this set of instructions. The worst part is I'm gonna like get to a certain point and it's gonna be like, hey, now do all this over again but mirrored for the other side. Alright, another little gearbox. This is also going to our contraption somewhere. Aha. And so this guy also is not attached to anything just yet. I have a feeling we're going to be connecting all of these things on this side. And there'll be some sort of transmission function, so you can switch from doing this guy to that guy to that guy. That's my guess. Oh, uh-oh. That did it. Where did this piece go? Alright. Disassembly time. Alright. Minor crisis averted. That's cool. When we rolled, I'm sorry the game didn't work out, but I'll have to remember to put together some kind of rules for the music thing. And maybe we can get that started back up again. Alright, so taking this contraption, attaching it on here. And yeah, so you can see this gear turns on the front there. This guy turns, that's turning. And you get the start of a transmission. Of course, right now this is just kind of sitting there, so we gotta flip it over and lock it in place. There we go. More gears. So here we go, as we continue our work on making this a transmission. We got some transmission selectors here, and those go with these white kind of 3-module Technic axle connectors. You can see that they ought to slide right on here. Oh. Come on. Usually they slide right on. I don't think there's a front and back. There we go. There we go. So once they're like that, you can see because of the ridges on that white connector that they can go into 1, 2, or I think it's just 1 or 2 different positions, so you can kind of switch things into gear and out of gear to control the different features of our tow truck. Get really cool once you start motorizing it. Alright, so I think that's it for this assembly for the moment. I guess that's the other thing, since there are no bags, usually I do our giveaways based on how many bags we get through, so I'll have to figure out something different for that. Probably do it like every hour or so. So we're about 10 minutes away from our first giveaway. We'll put up that link again soon. Remind everyone. It looks like we're going to need one of our first Technic motors in this section. I don't have any batteries handy today, so we won't be able to motorize anything and show off exactly how it works. But before our next stream, I'll be sure to get some batteries in there, and so we can start off next stream by hopefully powering things on if we're far enough. Oh yeah, I guess you missed the beginning, Tove Pie, because I was complaining about that immensely. Yes, none of the bags in the set were numbered. I mean, it is a set from 2017, but even back then, I mean, they were still numbering bags. I don't consider that an excuse. So I'm not sure what happened to cause this set to be a complete pile of chaos. But yes, that's why we have like all these parts all laid out. That is not a thing I normally like to do. So I think what we're doing right now is making the other part of our transmission here, and eventually they're going to connect somehow like that. Uh-oh, did I put this in the wrong spot? I put this beam in the wrong spot. Glad I caught that in time. Yeah, it's really a complete mess to a pie. I'm not sure what someone was thinking when they decided this. No idea whose fault that would be. If it was like the Technic teams, or the instruction team, or the packing team. But someone decided, hey, we don't need to put any numbers on these bags. It was just silly. Why would we do such a thing? This isn't 2017, it's 1987. Alright, time to... Unfortunately, some of these bags are resting on the bags the motors were in. And oddly enough, for whatever reason, these bags actually have these little perforations here. So once you start opening them, they tend to open pretty well. And for organization's sake, we're just going to take out the medium motor that we need for this step. Motors themselves do not have perforations, and since it's a different plastic than the normal part bag, you can't just tear them open like I was doing before. So I'm guessing, I believe the box of this had a medium motor and like an XL motor. So I am assuming that the medium motor that we're doing here is going to be for all the functions like the outrigger and the crane and stuff like that. And the XL motor is going to be for driving this behemoth around. Interesting thing is we're adding this 1x2 blue grill plate onto the connector that may be for some sort of color coding later on. Oh yeah, I guess since there's only one battery box, you may have to actually swap the motors. So it'll be like, all right, I'm gonna put on the other motor. Maybe it's red. I think I saw a red tile, grill tile. So I gotta put on the red motor to drive it around, and then when I wanna use the tow truck features, I put on the blue motor. Alright, so we've finished this sub-assembly. Now with the motor on here, it's hard to show it, but we got this gear here, which can turn this guy, which can't really turn that because of the lack of friction on the clutch gear. But now all of this is going in here, and it is trying to show very carefully, hey, make sure this axle goes through this hole. And it helps if I don't do it backwards. And this is definitely something you want to pay attention to and not mess up. There we go. And so now I got some real complex gear functions going on here. Flip this around so we can lock it together, lock the motor in. All right, so just about 2 o'clock. So we're gonna get ready to do our first giveaway for today. Because I'm still still working with our new system to get that chat up on the screen. I think when I put up the giveaway link, the chat is going to disappear, and when we put up the chat again, the history will not be on the screen anymore. So just be forewarned that it's going to disappear. But you should still be able to see it in your browser anyway. All right. So there's a link, bzpower.com/giveaway. go ahead and drop your name in our digital hat. We'll be doing our first giveaway in a couple of minutes. You'll have a chance to win one of several awesome Star Wars buildable figure sets. Kindly donated to us by LEGO, just like the set that we're building now. Many thanks to them, especially former LEGO employee Kim Thompson, who is one of the main people making that happen back in the day. Sadly, no longer with the company. We still appreciate it, Kim. All right. So there we go. You can see some cool gear functions going on there. Going from here all the way to the front there. And now it's time to add in a differential. I don't think I've ever seen this piece in red before. So that's kind of nifty. Sure it's the right size. Alright, our 4-module black Technic axle. Where would I hide? Caught red-handed. These are always very interesting to set up, since this gear just kind of rests on that little pin in there. And once you get the other two gears in place, it locks it in pretty well. But until such time, it can be a little tricky. There you go. There is our little differential there. So that means I can spin this, and that guy spins in the opposite direction, but then you can also spin this whole thing. Basically what it means is you spin the whole thing using one of the red gears, but then if one of them encounters an issue and is prevented from moving, the other axle can still spin. So that is actually something that cars use to help keep them from skidding out. And that guy goes in there. All right, so it looks like we're at a good point to stop. I'm gonna go put our chat back up and pick our first winner. All you guys who entered, why aren't you in the chat chatting with us? Ido, congratulations, you won a Kylo Ren buildable figure. Let's see what I missed in the chat. Topai still needs to motorize the shield helicarrier. You bought the parts, but you haven't done it yet. That one is an interesting one to motorize. I definitely had some issues with that. It is very finicky to get properly motorized and not have some of the various gears jam up on you, just because of some of the long runs that you have in that with like really long axles. If there's any amount of friction in it, it will jam up. So be forewarned on that one. What else? All right. Yeah, the differential part has definitely been around for a while, so it sounds like it's just something you happen to miss over the years, Topai. And yeah, it would be nice to get a new CCBS line at some point, although early reports from Toy Fair in Germany this past week do not sound very promising. BZPower will be at Toy Fair in New York in a few weeks, though. I'm not expecting them to announce anything that they didn't announce in Germany. But also they've already said that they will not be showing off any sets from the second half of the year. So it will be kind of limited selection. That's kind of the same thing we've done for the past couple of years, sadly. So many different gears. They're all in different little baggies. Alright, where does this monstrosity go? So far, of all of the large-scale Technic sets I have built, this definitely seems like one of the most involved gearboxes yet. Because I built like that jet. And what was the other one? That like crane truck thing. Probably a couple others I'm forgetting. The Porsche didn't really fall into that category because it was not motorized. Like the idea behind a lot of these gearboxes is the same. Just like how big and intricate do they make them. In the case of this one, it's pretty big and pretty intricate. I'm really hoping by the end of today we get to the point where we can at least condense some of these bins. And if not, maybe before I do the next stream, I'll have to do a little off-camera sorting. Just so things can go a little bit faster. Maybe find some more bins I can use. Huh, good job for breaking Lego City undercover there, Toa Pie. I definitely think there have been some issues in those games as they've progressed. Like they designed the engine for one thing, and then as time has gone on, it's been, you know, they've kind of added on more features to it, especially with Lego City Undercover, which is kind of like an open world, almost GTA style game. And so things have probably come up that they never really anticipated when they first made that engine. I am looking forward to the new Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga coming out. I guess this year, yeah. They're in 2020. Or in February. I think they've given us a date. I'd assume like holiday season probably we'll get a new game. And we will be streaming it right here on the BZPower Twitch channel. Any excuse to play Star Wars. It's kind of funny how amidst all these Technic pieces, every now and then I come across like a system piece. It's like a 1x1 round brick. So what is that for? Alright, now this whole contraption goes on here somehow. Go, and that holds that in, and then we push these guys in. Maybe. There we are. This thing is starting to get very bulky, and look at all this. So pretty much like each of these gray things, there's going to be a 3-position connector, like one direction, off, or the other direction. And I think we used up all of them. but you can see, hopefully, maybe there's these little ridges on the end of them. So when they go into one of these red gears that was kind of freely spinning, now it spins with the axle, so that's how you engage different features. So like when it's in this position, you can see this gear turns, and then that tan gear down there, and this guy up here is turning. And we put it in this position, now that gear is turning. Let's see what we got for this. So yeah, for this guy, you can see this gear is turning. We flip it over here, and now this is turning, but until this is engaged, nothing is really happening. So kind of different functions. It gets very involved very fast. And that is one thing that usually on the sticker sheet, let's see. Yeah, on the sticker sheet here, you can see like these guys, and then these guys kind of help indicate, they'll, like the selector switch will be able to point at like one of these or the other, and you'll know that like if I play with this switch and flip it one direction, it'll do this thing, and the other it'll do a different thing. Now one thing in my little bag here, I'm starting to run low on these 3 module Technic pins. I need 6 for this step. Fortunately / unfortunately, I've got this entire bag of them that I've yet to open. So I guess on the one hand, it'll be easier to find the parts I need, because I won't have to look through these blue 3 module pins and the blue Technic half axle half pins. On the other hand, it will mean I have another bag open up that I have to deal with. But I still got a couple of them left, so I don't have to open this bag just yet. Yeah, right, Tovepie, like I can explain how some of this stuff works, but I have no idea like how I would even begin to design it. Like just give me like a microcontroller and I can program it to do what you want in different situations. But that's like, give me 6 different outputs and put a motor on each one. Not in this case where it's one motor that is going to be driving all of these functions, which is amazingly impressive. Alright, looks like we're putting this monstrosity off to the side for now. We're grabbing one of these H-frames. No, that might have been the last. Oh, nope, one more. Alright. That was the last 3 module pin in this bag. So next time I need one, I'll have to open up the other bag. Alright, so we've got another differential. This one is slightly different from the first one, the red one, which we do still have another one of those, so we can kind of show off. They are different sizes, and this one does not have gears on the one side. The interior is a little bit different as well. I don't know if I've used this newer one before yet. One of the nicer things is it does have, let's see, these little ridges on the inside. So when you put the gear in, it just kind of sits in there and it doesn't flop around as much as is, and you can put it like this and the gears aren't falling out. So it makes it a little more sturdy. And so there you go. See, it looks like whatever this is we're building here is still going to attach to our main assembly at some point. And so yeah, so you can see that when I turn this axle, this guy turns. But like, if one of the wheels loses traction, it can still turn. And it can be the same for either side. It's kind of interesting, since we're starting this by working on the gearbox, which kind of has to be one of the first things you build, since it usually then gets all the structure built around it. We're using a lot of these littler pieces and very few of the ones I sorted out, so it makes me feel very good about the fact that I did that sorting and got all those pieces out of the way. hopefully means we continue to get a lot of these smaller pieces used up today and allow us to get some more space to sort for next time. Do less hunting through bags for the parts we need. Alright, time to get our new bag of long pens. I believe Tove Pi, what you're thinking about is called kerning, K-E-R-N-I-N-G. And that's like, not necessarily sorting Lego pieces, but just kind of sorting things out in general and like lining them up in a very precise manner. Alright, now it's time to attach this to our main thing. And so we had all these pins here before. And so we're sliding this in. So yeah, this connects toward the drive shaft there. And then I get to push those in, lock this guy in place. And so now, yes, I guess this is probably gonna be our front axle. And it's referred to as a 6x6 tow truck. So in theory, that means that like this back here, or maybe this is gonna be the back. I have no idea what's the front and what's the back at this point. There's gonna be two more of these differentials for the other two wheels, because a 6x6 implies that it is 6-wheel drive, at least to me. Oh, did I just realize I put this on upside down? Yep. Alright, gotta pop those pins back out. A 36 tow truck. I don't think that that's how it works, unfortunately. That's kind of like, you hear the term 4x4. There's all 4 wheels. Oh, come on, Technic pin. Oh no. Have engine power to them. So like the opposite of a 6x or a 4x4 is generally a 2x4, where it has 4 wheels, but only 2 of them have engine power to them. So it looks like we're starting to do our steering mechanism, at least one of our steering mechanisms. It's hard to tell based on what the box is showing, but there may be front and rear wheel steering, which my understanding is that that's somewhat common on like 6-wheeled vehicles. Because if you only have 2 out of 6 wheels steering, it tends to cause some issues with having the rear wheels follow the front. Alright, yeah, so we just added that little gear in. So you can see one of the functions is going to be to steer. So yeah, somewhere back in there, we'll be able to turn from side to side. And that's where this clutch gear comes in handy. So when we go all the way to one side, if whatever's driving this guy, somewhere back here, is still turning, the clutch gear will start slipping so it won't break our steering mechanism. 5x5 generally refers to in like radio transmissions when they're doing a radio check. They will count down or count off to 5, and saying I read you 5x5 means I heard all 5 numbers. Something along those lines. There might be a better way to explain it, but that is my understanding. So it'd be like radio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the response will be I read you 5x5. Alright, so it looks like, see, we were saying, you know, this is kind of our drive axle up front here. And it looks like the next thing to do is we're going to make these 2 assemblies using that part I was showing off before. This guy, so we can then offset that somehow. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to work, but so that'll give it some extra lift. And we're making 2 of them, and they're identical, so presumably 1 on either side. And to go along with this piece, we've got this interesting guy, which has got 3 pins and an equilateral triangle on the back. And this pops into here. It's like a wheel hub, it looks like. And I guess that probably lines up with these rims. So I'll be able to attach the big tires onto here. And having them attached with 3 Technic pins instead of just an axle in the center will make it a lot more rigid and a lot stronger. Because otherwise, if it's just one axle on a tire that big, it could, you know, more easily bend the axle and put strain on it and cause it to break. I'm really glad that this set has these pieces in it, because I was kind of bummed when I missed out on getting the Unimog. Yeah, definitely do not see a lot of triangles in LEGO, especially equilateral ones. Like a right triangle Yeah, sure, you see stuff like that, but like an equilateral one, that a 60-degree angle is not as common. So you can see we've got like this gear up here. When that turns, it'll turn the tire down at the bottom. That's interesting. So this set gave us 2 bags of just Technic black friction pins. I'm looking through this bag, and I see there's at least 1 black friction pin hiding in there. And it's like, why do they have to even do that? Don't they have enough friction pins here? Are you part I'm looking for? It's already out somewhere. No, it's probably not a mistake. It might be something like, this is just my brain running through ideas. Like, I definitely have seen other Technic sets we've built where they give us just a bag full of friction pins. So it might be that they already had kind of a predetermined packing size on that bag. They're like, oh, we can just reuse this bag and then add, 4 more pins in somewhere else that we need, rather than making a whole new item in their packing packing situation, they're like packing process. And so it's just easier to do it that way. Use the same bag they're already manufacturing. It's like that kind of logistics makes sense. Not numbering the bags does not make sense. It's very evil of you, Lego. I just want you to know that. The person who didn't like the numbers is also hiding the Technic pins, yes. Lego's evil. Lego is really run by the zombie of Emperor Palpatine. got a couple of universal joints here. Very expensive piece for Lego to make because it is literally molded all in one shot, even though there are 3 different components, so it's a very complex mold. And I believe, and this I don't remember for sure, but that because it is so complex, it does have to be replaced more frequently than other molds, which adds to the cost. But what this does for us here, let's see if we can attach this properly. That goes on there. So I don't think I'll be able to show it off right away. I'm gonna have to wait until we actually connect these on a little more. But it's gonna be cool, I swear. Oh, okay, I guess there are some pins in here that will help. Forgot about those guys. All right, so yeah, now, no, that doesn't want to work. Let's see. So if I turn this guy, you can see that both of our wheel hubs there are turning. And so even once, eventually we're going to connect this to the steering mechanism, so even if they're at 2 different angles, it will still have drive power to both of the wheels. So it's pretty sweet. Yeah, the crazy thing with these Technic sets is that, like, these mechanisms and stuff we're building are kind of the same things that are in actual, you know, cars and trucks and stuff. Just at a different scale. You know, ever since 2001, I've never been able to look at that piece and not think Taraga body. So we're starting to build up these wheel hubs. Eventually, I assume we're going to link them to our little gear rack here. Hey, get back in there. Also kind of interesting how here we are coming up on 2 hours in, and there are some of these small Technic parts, like this guy, that we haven't even used yet. Like, I've been having to sort around them this whole time. They're not even used for anything. That is why we need numbered bags, Lego. Alright, so this should get our steering mechanism linked up here. So, where was our steering mechanism? So now, you can see as we turn that gear here, you can steer from side to side. And see if we try to keep turning, eventually the clutch gear just slips, and so it doesn't go anymore. Time to get out our big XL motor. That's this. Nope, that's not that. Gotta open up this bag. Hold on to it. There we go. There's our XL. Our Technic pins. Don't spill, please. Yeah, so this one gets a red grill tile on it. This is a big beefy motor here. And that goes here. There we go. And so yeah, this you can see is going to be what's used for the drive axle here. So yeah, I want to have that big beefy motor being the one that powers the wheels. Give it a lot of torque. assuming is the back of the tow truck. Let's see what we're going to work on here. We've got another interesting set of parts. Kind of familiar to was it the 2016 Toa, where they had that little snap together piece there. This looks like it's going to be some sort of rear differential, perhaps. Oh, and finally that part I was complaining about not using for so long we're going to use. So all I gotta do is complain about it, and then boom, like it puts it in the instructions. Oh, so that piece, that pair of pieces is probably going to be used for the suspension. So we have like our rear drive shaft here, but this will allow like the whole back assembly to be able to spin from side to side as the suspension wiggles. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be building like a whole chunk that's going to pop right onto that for 2 of the back wheels. And then we'll have to do something that's probably going to be very similar, but just slightly different for the next set, since this first set also has to have a pass-through to be able to get to the second set of wheels. So yes, we're going to have some differentials and some more of those offset things for the tires. So I think in theory, once we're done with the sub-assembly, it'll start looking a lot more like a car, you know, or a tow truck in this case. Just good because we're almost 2 hours in. Hopefully it's going to start looking like something. Try to get away on the piece. See, since we are almost 2 hours in, we'll be doing our next giveaway soon. Soonish. Alright, got our differential in there. It says I should only be doing one of these, but I'm not going to listen to them, as I'm often want to do. I'll just do both of these hubs at the same time. Even if we don't connect them both at the same time, at least they'll both be assembled. That's something I did not notice before. At the center of this hub piece, it actually does have a Technic axle hole, so that does stay in there. It doesn't spin freely, so it's not pinhole. Get back here. Off to the side for now. And attach this one onto here. So one thing that it looks like they're doing, you might have seen this when we worked on the front, on the steering here, is that the gray side is the right and the red is the left. And it looks like they're doing that on this one too, where the red is going to be the left side and then presumably gray on the right. And that's probably just to help make things easier during assembly, so you don't accidentally put it the wrong way and then some gears aren't going to be lined up properly and it won't work. No one wants that. So no good time for everyone. Alright, just after 3. So we're going to put up our giveaway link. Chat will disappear for a couple of minutes. And once we probably, I'm not sure how much more we have on this assembly, but in theory, once we finish this assembly, if I can figure out how this goes on. Huh. Try to line up some of these axles a little bit. Come on. That one does not want to budge. It's definitely off kilter. Hopefully be good enough. Got a couple more pages left before we finish this sub-assembly, so once we are done with that, we'll go ahead and pick our next winner. Could it be you? Maybe. Alright. Oh, did I do something wrong here? How did I manage that? Oh, you butt face. They switched it around on me without telling me, hey, now you flip it. Flip it good. So this is backwards. back. Alright, I thought we were almost ready to do a giveaway. Not quite. Let's see, this is probably exactly why they have those different colors to help stupid people like me not make a mistake. Alright. Hopefully we're good now. Just need gear. Grab this monster. Alright. So this isn't quite going to be fully attached at this point, but wasted too much time messing up. So let's do a giveaway. $1.99. You won a Darth Maul buildable figure. Congratulations. You know the drill. We'll be in touch and get you that prize. Alright, so once we attach this guy in here, a couple pieces, we can show off how this whole thing we just built is going to work. What else we got? That seems like too much effort. Alright, so we just built this. You can see it can kind of spin side to side. And yet, at the same time, so you can see as I spin that, in theory, both of our hubs are spinning, and yet it can still be at an angle, and they can still turn. So yeah, lots of cool mechanical nonsense. For now, I gotta flip this over, it looks like. Go do some reinforcement work along the bottom. Make sure it's nice and sturdy. So without having bag numbers, it is a little difficult to tell how far we are in this build. I mean, the big Technic builds like this, based on my past experience, they tend to kind of take a while to get going with all of that, kind of intricate gearbox stuff we did, and then near the end, when we're just putting on like all those Technic panels you see lined up along the back, they go a lot more smoothly. So even though we're like almost 3 hours in, and I mean, I guess now with the second axle on here, it is starting to look more like a vehicle. But there's still like a lot of work to be done. So hopefully, like if we were to call it quits in 2 hours, or in an hour, sorry. After 3 hours, we call it quits. Next time should go a bit faster, maybe. All right, so we just finished building this assembly here. And now we get to do it all again, but slightly different, since this one has this white axle coming out the back to connect to another hub. But we do not have another hub after it, so this one will just be the end. Mechanical Nonsense sounds like a great name for a techno-punk band. Get on that, Toa Pie. It's not too late. You can be on the soundtrack for Cyberpunk when it comes out in a month or two, April, I want to say. I don't know, I haven't been tracking it too closely. I will probably not get it. Not because it doesn't look awesome, just because I don't have that time to sing into a game. I think one of the disappointing things is, so far in this build, is I'm like 2 hours in, and all these trays I have, they still look just as full, except for maybe this one. This one's starting to get a little empty. So like maybe by the end of today, I'll be able to combine that tray with one of these others. I still feel like there's gonna be a lot of parts left. Oh, it's delayed till September now. Well, that gives you more time to get Mechanical Nonsense off the ground into the game. You can say I was in a game with Keanu Reeves. Alright, well there's something. We're using our last 2 hubs here. Actually gives us some space up there. Potentially, we can like sort out some more parts. For example, we've got these big 6x6 dishes in here. They're going to be like the wheel hubs, hubcaps. So this can go over there, out of my way. hubs there. Oh, hey, look. I have to do the same thing again. Not sure why it just doesn't have you build them both at the same time. Alright. Getting a severe sense of deja vu right now, doing the same thing over again. Hopefully the deja vu does not continue into me making the same silly mistakes again. Yes, here's where I forgot to make a mistake. Forgot to do that. That little simple act of flipping it makes all the difference in the world. Interesting that we put one of these rotatey guys on both the front and the back. Not that it really stays on the back at this point. Some of these bags of little parts are definitely getting less full. Keeps me from feeling too disheartened. Place. Almost to the point where we actually get to connect this. At that point, I think we'll start having a reasonable idea of the final length of this thing. I mean, it said on the box 2 feet. We're definitely well over a foot. But sometimes, you know, it takes a little more before you kind of really get the scope. Okay, there we go. See, that kind of really adds up there. I see a little bit of toe pie. And now I started to lock these two things together. Alright, just adjusting my mic a little bit because that little rough rustling was getting annoying. trying not to move that much. Now we're starting to lock two rear axles together, it seems. So they'll still be able to move independently of one another, but we just kind of need to add some structure around them. This truck is sturdy enough to go off-roading. Maybe not off-roading, but at least to be able to support its own weight and drive around. What are we doing? Did I skip a page? I feel like I skipped a page. Oh no, I just turn. Okay, it has me turning this. That was what was confusing. Alright, now put that off to the side. I'm going to start building a fairly large looking assembly, hopefully to help lock some of this together. You can see the back end is still a bit flimsy for now. Definitely needs some more support structure to it. I will say, I do feel like I'm finally starting to get the feel for where all the parts are. So that should last just about until the time I wrap things up for today. And then I'll have forgotten everything by next week. What it is I'm building right now. Presumably this is all going to come together at some point in one of the play features. Alright. So this whole contraption goes like that. Hold it in with one pin. That is certainly something. Doesn't do much just yet. I suspect that before long it will. Like the fact that these two Technic holes are attached to the gearbox. So there's no gear on here. And we're going to start adding some function stuff in. Not the right piece. I looked at the right piece. I just grabbed another one. do think it's kind of interesting. I thought we were gonna be focusing on the back here a little more and kind of beef that up rather than focusing on some of the structural stuff up top. Man, that tow pile up the chat. Feels like you guys have abandoned me. So I think some of these gear thingies we're working on here are going to be for the functions with the crane and stuff. As you can see, we've got some gears here. If I disengage that, there you go. So I'm sure that'll do something eventually. It's kind of interesting how when you look at like these big Technic sets on the box, it's like, oh yeah, they're pretty symmetric, right? I mean, got a mirror on the other side, the headlights, the grille, all this stuff is pretty similar from left to right side, but then you go to build it and you realize all the asymmetry and everything on the inside here. Oh, alright, this whole thing goes on here. On top of our steering mechanism. Maybe the beginnings of a little bit of framing on the set. Gotta have something to attach all those medium blue panels to. Or azure, I think it's azure, not medium blue. Alright, starting to get some more structure there. It's really starting to come together. And now, starting to add these pieces in, which are kind of a neat decorative-ish piece for some people, but in this case, they are very key to the functioning of the transmission and gearbox. So let's go put, let's see, where is this piece supposed to go? Like that? Oh, can't do it just that easy. So I've got to put these in here. See, these pieces are actually what make the transmission work. Let's see, there. And that goes like that. So yeah, when these guys, I should be able to see it there. When you turn these guys, you can move those pieces back and forth to select the different functions. Yeah, for some reason, we're kind of making like a whole lever system here for these. And these two are kind of joined together. And it's a little wiggly at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get that all sturdied up as we keep adding more pieces. So yeah, it might get like super complicated, like the reason those two are linked is something like you don't want to have the crane going up at the same time it's driving around or something. I don't know, I'll have to see. So I'm kind of curious why the motor that's driving the wheels here is also going to be spinning this guy up here at the same time. Maybe that's only in certain modes. Well, that's definitely engaged because now that motor isn't letting me do anything with it. Alright, I'll have to wait and see on that one. Alright, we're getting pretty close to being done with our third hour of building. I don't know, does it feel like we're halfway through with this thing? Maybe we'll go a little past 3 hours. All right, adding in some more of these selector switches. And again, it looks like these two in the back are going to be kind of linked up. For whichever functions it is that they do. At this point, I'm kind of losing track of everything. There's so much. And yeah, it looks like we'll have like a knob or something here that will allow us to switch back and forth. Well, I guess that's one way to figure out how far we are is based on the instructions. Let's see. Looks like there's 393 pages, or yeah, there's 590 steps. So that would be what, 245 would be halfway? No, 295 would be halfway. 85? Math is hard. 295. So alright, we'll try to go until we get halfway through the instructions based on step count. So we're on 222 right now, so we've got about 70 more instructions to do. I'm not guaranteeing we'll actually go that long. I would like to feel that we're getting close to being done. Do we flip things around at some point? Yep. At this point, I think this medium motor here is never coming out unless you take the entire thing apart, which is a bit of a bummer because these motors can wear out. I have seen it happen. Oh, we've got ourselves a worm gear. I don't think I've seen one of those in a while. Stop falling apart on me. Stop being so fragile. Just built a little worm gearbox. Can see when that spins, that gear turns very slowly. Alright, this goes in here. Does that connect to something on this side? Oh yeah, it does. Alright. Interesting. Oh, that is supposed to be up like that. Oh, apparently there's some more just to pop those in. I don't remember ever showing me that in the instructions, but okay. That's certainly gonna add some strength to the build. Alright, it is 4 o'clock, so time to do another giveaway. Put up a link. Make sure you're entered. And we'll pick ourselves a winner in a couple minutes. Alright, really starting to make this thing nice and solid. You can see now, I mean, like the back here is still maybe a little wishy-washy, but this is pretty good. You can see each of our axles here can tilt independently. Hopefully get some actual suspension on there at some point. And then now, let's see how our like our little switches here working pretty well. All right, looks like next up we're gonna make the engine assembly with those working pistons. So once we do this right here, add a little bit more stability on here, lock these parts in, maybe. I think the Technic pins would be easier to connect sometimes. Alright, let's go ahead and find us a winner. To Joxing, congrats, you won a K2 SO buildable figure. We'll be in touch to get you that prize. Alright. And we will see how long it takes us or how many steps it takes to build the engine, because maybe that'll be what we wrap up with today. Looks like, despite the size of this tow truck, that it's an inline 4 engine, not like a V6 or something. So, you know, 4-cylinder engine usually has significantly less horsepower than, you know, a 6 or 8-cylinder engine. Oh, that's probably what this thing is for up here. That drives the axles. That's also going to make the pistons on the engine move. Alright, now I get to make a fun piston assembly with some cams and pistons and all that good stuff. Always fun getting everything lined up properly. No, all my piston heads. Where'd it go? These are always fun to line up properly. Just gotta put that in our engine block here. Alright, still want to, before I show off the engine, I want to build a little bit more on the front here so the piston assembly does not fall out. That's never fun. And don't you just hit it when your pistons fall out? Alright, I think I can combine some of these trays, which in some regards is going to mess me up, because I've become used to finding certain pieces in certain places, but I'm getting tired of just searching through bags all the time. Alright, this attaches on here. Put an axle here. And now we can show off our pistons firing in alternate succession. Very cool, very smooth. Oh, and it looks like it's gonna be time for our first couple of stickers finally. 252 steps into the instructions. Oddly enough, the first stickers we're doing are numbers 22 and 23. Going on these Technic panels to add some details to the engine. go. You can see our 2 stickers there. And now, this whole thing, watching for motor wire there, goes like that. And so now when the wheels turn, the engine cylinders will turn as well. And it'll look really cool. This little guy, where's it going? There. Oh, now I get to switch it around. Looks like we're working on the front on the other side now. Over here. That's what's needed. Alright. Getting this all reinforced like. There's too many Technic pins. We are starting to run low on our Technic pins, but we do have another bag still that has yet to be opened. So yeah, no shortage of black Technic pins. I think I remember Brickset did like an analysis based on their inventory of like the most common part across all Lego sets, and I think the black Technic pin was like in the top 10, if not number 1. Because the friction pins only ever appear in black, as opposed to like a 1x1 plate which appears in multiple colors. And they were looking at like the color and piece combination, not just the piece. Because I think I might have looked at both, and when they looked at the piece, it was slightly different. But as far as a color piece combo, black friction pin was up there. Just pouring out too many of these guys. Out of my instructions. It's going to be very difficult to turn the page with you guys all in there. Alright, where does this go? Oh, we're going, making our way to the front. Maybe this will look like something before we finish today. We've got about 30 more steps before we call it quits. Where did you attach? Alright, that locks most of our engine in. So much going on the set. Hard to keep track of it all. And depending on how far we get, I may decide to go ahead and put the wheels on at the end anyway. Just for kicks. You can always pop those off easily enough, I feel. But at least it'll make it look like something. This thing is starting to get solid. Oh no, come back, piece. Of course, I'm trying to pick up one piece, I drop another. Mission accomplished. Oh, hey there, BFA Home. Welcome. All right, going all the way into here now. Somehow, I think, attach onto that. We're almost out of these Technic frames here. Alright, I think I'm definitely glad that I decided to keep building a little bit longer today, because it's starting to look pretty nice. And it is also starting to get very heavy as well. But look at like how rigid it is at this point. It is sturdy, not going nowhere. Alright, apparently that's it for some of this structure at this point. And now we're gonna add a turntable. Well, eventually a turntable, first a differential, followed by a turntable. Although we're not actually using it as a differential. Alright, I stand corrected. Interesting. See, I've got this differential piece, but we're just putting a Technic coupler in there. And that is going into here. And presumably that connects to one of the many inner working mechanisms we made forever ago. Time to open up our very last bag of unopened parts. More Technic pins. Didn't think they'd let us run out, did you? Alright, so we've got our big snap together Technic turntable here. and I think we're just about done for today. Put up that giveaway link for one last giveaway. And we're on step 295 right now, which puts us halfway through instructions-wise. We're going to at least finish up this little sub-assembly and get it installed. But I think we're pretty much halfway there. Alright, and this goes on there. Along with those Technic pins. Alright. And see, then with that, eventually we'll be able to turn this turntable, which will house the tow truck crane from side to side very slowly. I'm just gonna keep going, give people a chance to enter that giveaway one last time. Alright, I think this will be the last one we do. Alright, hopefully everyone has had a chance to enter the giveaway. Oh, there we go. That is going away. And so here is what we got today that he just broke. Don't lift it up by there, apparently. They're just showing off how sturdy you were. You had to go make a liar out of me. There we are. Alright. So, the start of our 6x6 all-terrain tow truck. See, we've got our 6 places for our wheels to go. We've got steering installed. We've got our drive axle. There we go. You can see all 6 wheels. Now you can see all 6 wheels going. That will be a sight to see once we have batteries in this. You can see the back 2 axles have independent suspension. Thanks to some differentials and other magic, they will be able to be driven while that's going on. Have our turntable mechanism starting. There is a very complex transmission in there that we built. And we have our 2 selectors. So not sure, there we go. Yeah, if you twist this, you can go forward and backwards. And that will eventually select between different modes. And we got our working engine here. You can see the pistons pumping. You can see that is tied to the wheels. So that's pretty sweet as well. You can see we've got our extra large motor in here, right there. That'll be for the drive functions. And then a medium motor on this side. That will be for the tow truck functions, I guess like the crane and the outriggers and stuff like that. So there's still a bunch to be done, but based on the instruction count, I believe we said there was what, 500 and something instructions, 590 steps. So we're on step 301, so we are just a little bit over halfway based on that. So hopefully next time we should be able to finish this off. We'll see if that's going to be next Friday or Saturday. Not sure yet, but we'll let you know once we do. And eventually this will look like that. All right, see who our last winner for the day is going to be. congratulations to Stevie, who won an Imperial Death Trooper. We'll be getting in touch with you to get you your prize. So congrats, guys. Congrats, Stevie, and all of our other winners. Hope you enjoyed it. Our stream. It's been a lot of fun so far, if tedious at times, mainly because the bags were not numbered. I may do a little sorting before our next stream to help speed things up a bit. But until then, this is going to be Black 6 from BZPower signing off. Thanks, guys. See you next time.